Ali, thanks very much.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Sal. Now, many school children dream of forming a band with their friends and becoming a huge success, but for Rick Buckler and his friends Bruce Foxton and Paul Weller, that is exactly what they did when they formed The Jam.
Yeah, the band came to prominence in the late 70s amid London's punk rock explosion, where their mod style and consistent hits set them apart from the crowd.
Drummer Rick Buckler has written a book about his time in The Jam, and he's going to join us in just a couple of moments.
I'm so happy and you're so kind. You want more money, of course I don't mind. My nuclear text was for atomic rhymes, and the public gets what the public wants. But I want nothing, society's got. I'm going underground, but if the brass bands play up, start to pound.
I can guarantee that we've probably sent a whole lot of people off to work singing those songs, Rick. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
They're classic tracks, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I'm a big fan myself.
Did you know when you were writing them, when you were playing them, that they would have kind of hold, still many years on, that kind of...
No, you don't. You know, you just do it. But it's great that they have still, stood the test of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a testament to Paul's songwriting at the time, really. But yeah, I don't think we did a bad song. I think all of them are great.
What I was surprised by about you, because I always thought the Jam must have come from the mean streets of South London or South London.
No, we come from the mean streets of Woking.
Woking,
yeah.
suburbia, Stockbroker Belt.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah. It's not. It's Woking is Woking. It's not a particularly marvellous place, but I mean, it's.
But you still live there, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Can't seem to get out.
Was it? But I'd have thought Woking would not have been sort of deeply touched by the punk revolution.
I think the punk thing did get everywhere eventually. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we sort of came in touch with that side of it when we moved into the London scene, really, because London's not that far away. I mean, it was so. Although we spent years playing around the clubs and pubs of Surrey and South England, it wasn't until we moved into the sort of London thing that things started taking off for us.
And tell us, I mean, how old were you when you first started playing together?
I suppose when we were at school was when we first got together.
So what, when you're teenagers?
Yeah, late teenagers, 16, 17, that sort of thing. Spent about 5 years around the clubs until we got signed.
It wasn't the three who ended up in the Jam, you, Bruce and Paul Weller, that was not the original lineup as such, was it?
No, we went through various incarnations before that. We tried to form a four-piece band to start with, and there was various members. Steve Brooks was one of the original members, and there was another guy, Dave Waller, and we had a keyboard player who lasted for 2 shows, I think, something like that. So, and eventually it sort of settled down to the three-piece.
But the three-piece has a very different dynamic, doesn't it? It's sort of not a raw sound, but it's a more basic sound.
Yes, yes. I mean, it seemed to work for us, I think. It certainly made each of us work harder, for the arrangements and for playing live and what have you. I mean, when I think of some of the other three-piece bands around, I mean, there is something special, I think, about a three-piece.
And quite an intense dynamic, three of you, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we were. That was what we really liked, was the sort of, I suppose the energy from that. The fast rock and roll that we did in the early days.
It's very rare that band splits don't end in tears, and the Jam really no exception. It was a huge shock to you when Paul Weller decided he wanted to leave.
It was, yeah. I mean, everything that we worked for, everything had sort of come true, and it was a bit of a dream come true in a way. And so when Paul decided that he was going to leave, I think we secretly thought, well, maybe he'll change his mind before the end of the year. We did that last tour, in 1982, and it was a good tour. We played really well, and the shows were really good, and what have you. So, but unfortunately, he didn't change his mind.
So tell us about the meeting. What, you were called to a meeting and you knew something was up, did you?
Yeah, we came back from our respective holidays, and we were in a recording studio, and John said, "Look, we're going to have a meeting," which is not something we did normally,
Yes.
you know, as a band. You know what I mean? So we all sort of got together, and Paul said that he was going to leave.
And you just built up a head of steam, as you say in the book. I mean, did you actually ever make any money out of being in the Jam?
Not at the time, not really, not at the time, no. A lot of it was being reinvested and etc. into the band, because once a band working, he's got crew to pay for, hotels and costs and all sorts of things. So it wasn't really until the sort of band finished that you start seeing some of the profits, I suppose. Because it was you know, and you don't really think about that at the time. You just do what you love doing, going and playing the shows and recording and that side of it. So it wasn't until it suddenly stopped that it was, you know, I think, whoa. That you sort of sank in that how much of a part of your life it was.
So a shock to hear that it's going to come to an end, and also I imagine kind of deeply frustrating if it's something that you love and it's going really well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was something that we'd put a lot of effort into, and it was really going well, and you couldn't really have expected more. You know, I mean, we'd had #1 records and toured all over the place, and we were doing exactly what we wanted to do. And everything that has happened in our lives really started with the Jam. That's what set us on our paths, you know, for everything that came afterwards, really.
When was the last time you spoke to Paul Weller?
1983 was the last time I actually bumped into him. I bumped into him at one of Bruce's concerts and just sort of said hello, and then he was off into the crowd.
Now, do you think it's bad feeling or just no real sentiment at all?
I mean, we broke up, you know, and we sort of respected Paul's, you know, view that he wanted to leave, and so it wasn't a bad breakup. It's not like we had a big bust up or an argument or anything like that. So we sort of, you know,
if he came back tomorrow and said, "Actually, lads, wouldn't mind just doing
Do you think he
another tour?"
will? Do you think he will?
But if you were to, you'd say yes, wouldn't you?
I think I'd have to, wouldn't I? I think I'd be silly not to. I don't know whether it would be a wise thing. I think the expectations now on a reform would be enormous. You know.
Still, if he's watching, we've sown the seed of the idea.
Well, maybe.
I love that. You're brokering a deal. Come on, Bill.
A lot of people, well,
Come on,
you know, a
Paul.
lot of people out there would love it.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Rick, thanks very much.
They would
thank you.
indeed. Thank you very much. And Rick Buckley's book is called That's Entertainment, My Life in the Jam is out soon.
No,